We covered mitosis when we did our unit on cells. Mitosis is how cells reproduce. You go from having a single cell to two identical daughter cells. So this is cellular reproduction. So this is just a quick review. Remember, you start with the original, you go through prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. You end up with two identical cells. So that's the type of cell division that makes new identical body cells. So this is your skin, your stomach, how your fingernails grow, how your bones grow or heal themselves, everything in your body. Mitosis is how you make new cells. So the steps to mitosis, just to remind you, when the chromosomes are copied to form sister chromatids, prophase, the cell's nucleus disappears, chromosomes coil up. Metaphase, the sister chromatids line up along the midline of the cell. Anaphase, the sister chromatids are pulled apart and move toward opposite poles. Telophase, the nucleus reforms around each set of chromosomes so that you can now have a nucleus in each of your new cells. And then cytokinesis, the cell actually pinches in two, and each new cell is identical to the old, and they have a full set of chromosomes. So again, this is review from the last unit. All right. What we want to talk about today, our new information, is meiosis. So we've been talking about genetics. We know that we get half of our chromosomes from mama. We get half of our chromosomes from daddy. So each parent gives 1/2 of the chromosomes necessary to make a brand new organism. Okay? So we're not talking about getting new cells. Now we're talking about getting new organisms. And where do those genetics come from? And meiosis is how each parent organism can create a cell capable of giving just half of the chromosomes to the next generation of organisms. So this is the type of cell division that produces gametes. And those gametes have half the number of chromosomes as a body cell. So as a human, we have 46 chromosomes. So our gametes will only have 23, 1/2 the number. All right? And so the gametes are sex cells, so we're talking about sperm or eggs. And germ cells are the specialized cells that can make gametes. Nothing else in your body does this. Your skin just makes skin, muscles just muscles, bone just bone. Only germ cells can do meiosis and make gametes. Now the steps to meiosis, they are similar to mitosis, but with a twist, because they have to do it twice. So in step 1, the chromosomes in the germ cell, so in the female's ovary or in the male's testes, they are copied to form sister chromatids. Sounds familiar. The nucleus disappears. At this point, the chromosome pairs can exchange genetic material in a process that's called crossing over. And let me show you what that is real quick. All right, we are going to pretend that this is mom's chromosomes. All right, so her original chromosome and that copied one, sister chromatids. Here are dad's chromosomes. Or sorry, not necessarily dad's, but just another one, sorry. Okay, so these two chromosomes, they're copied. So you have your original set and they're copies of each other. And they kind of twist and pile up and they're all tight. It's not nice and neat inside the cell. These things are all jumbled and all that. And so what can happen is these kind of twist up. And when they twist up, parts of them can swap over. So a little bit of one can move over to the other and they'll swap parts. So the end of this chromosome suddenly gets stuck on this one and vice versa. That's what crossing over is. All right, so then in step 2, each chromosome pair separates to opposite poles of the cell. So they separate and the cell divides into 2. Okay, so we get these chromosome pairs moving to opposite poles of the cell. Now in step 3, the sister chromatids need to separate because they're actually still stuck together. So you get 2 cells here, but you still have all these chromosomes attached to their identical copies. So now we got to take that identical copy and pull it apart. And so the sister chromatids are going to separate and move to opposite poles of the cell. And now you're going to get a nucleus around each half set of chromosomes. Because once those sister chromatids separate, you only have half the amount of genetic information. So each then divides into 2. And so that brings you to 4 non-identical gametes. Okay? And so, as you can see, it's a little bit more involved. So you have your original chromosomes. They copy each other. That's what's going on here. You see them attached to their copies. This is where it's showing you that they cross over. See how the blues and the reds have swapped here some? That's crossing over happening, and it happens right here. All right, then they line up. They separate. But look, they're still attached to their sister chromatids. The identical copies haven't separated from each other like they did in mitosis. So they're still attached, and you have 2 cells, but the sister chromatids are still stuck together. So now you have to separate the sister chromatids, and that's where you're getting the half of the genetic information. So it goes through it again. Notice prophase 1, prophase 2, metaphase 1, metaphase 2, anaphase 1, anaphase 2. They're actually separated from each other finally. And you get your telophase 2 where you get your new nucleus. And then you have cytokinesis that gives you the 4 different cells. Again, the key is with this, see how your original cell had 4 chromosomes in it? 1, 2, 3, 4. In meiosis, you create 4 cells and they have half the number of chromosomes. Look at these cells. Each one only has 2 chromosomes in it instead of the 4 we started with. So it started with 4 chromosomes. Now we only have 2, half the number of chromosomes. All right, that's what gives us gametes. And now when fertilization occurs, you get half of your genetic material from one parent, half your genetic material from the other parent, and now you're back at having a new organism.